listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So here's what Satan does based upon the curses of the criminal spycraft operators and the anti-money wealthy people. They're not about the, I want to say promotion, the, not procreation. What's another word in there? Let me think. The propagation. I guess promotion and procreation propagates. So I'm here on a highway side road, so you might hear some vehicles in the background. They're about the reduction in money so that they can criminally abuse society. I know it's what you wanted to say. I articulated it for you. So when these things happen and they curse you, again, I want to back up 1 second. Homelessness is curses. That's all it is. The person's cursed, and homelessness is a curse. The people I speak about know about it. That's why they skew these movements, like awoke, to discredit any awakening that could occur, that they're stopping the same way they're stopping the money. Now God's crashing everything, including their money. Now, some of them are wealthy, some of them are getting wealthier, but that's not all of them. They what they do is they promote people for these spycraft criminal operations. And look, it's telling me the wrong thing here. Hang on. It told me to, I'm told to keep my headphones on because they cursed me, of course. But it told me to put my phone on this guy's truck fender. And of course, that's the wrong thing to do. That could get you killed. So, and I just did it naturally there. So when I minded it and knew what they were doing, my body shifted my phone away from filming this woman, but I'm not filming her, of course, because it's off. Obviously, you can see that it's off. That's why you see the emblem there instead of seeing where I'm walking or me or something like that. So what I was doing was getting ready to go broadcast, and I had my phone on my cross, and somebody was about to pull in, and I saw a worried look on his face. And I said, oh, they set me up. So before he pulled in, I was able to take my phone and point it downwards and give him a thumbs up. Now, again, once upon a time, that may tell you that he's involved in criminal activity, something we don't want, so we heal it. Heal, name of Jesus. Heal. That's simple. However, today, if you're a police officer and somebody looks at you with fear, that means a lot of different things. You can know. So again, they've hurt the investigative effort because the people that are actual criminals that are in their criminal society that they call deep state, and it's Republican, it's Democrat, it's Green Party, it's any party it's going to be that the Bible calls the beast, that I call the criminal spycraft operators and Satan, has caused you not to be able to easily discern who's the bad guy because they're so propped up and so wealthy that the system sees them as the bigs, as the good people. Again, there's none good, no, not one, and I firmly believe that. But there are evil people everywhere in society that they're calling good. And these new generations can see that. They can see that the evil people have taken everything over, and they're willing to crash everything to get them out of there. They're not going to give in to it. They're not going to give up the vision that they have to somebody for a few dollars so they can harm their neighbor. Again, it goes back to what Jesus said: love your neighbor and love God. It's that simple. So when a cop comes in, he looks at somebody that's afraid, drives through a parking lot or something, looks at somebody that's afraid, so that guy's or gal's committing crime. No, they've been harassed by other cops that are part of the criminal society that the Bible calls the beast. And they're wealthy, and they're congressmen, and they're senators. But yes, some of them are poor people. So again, what they tell you is helping law enforcement is a lie. Trump never helped law enforcement. Law enforcement never had it so bad as when Trump was there. Now, crooked law enforcement that wants to crack skulls with a billy club, they had it great for a while. But that's sin for a season. Because somebody's going to hem up some people, and what happens? Then you become afraid, right? And then they use that to get you to physically murder people. So now you're afraid that they're going to investigate you for being a corrupt cop. So again, it's sin for a season. You may get paid to do something corrupt, or Satan might pay you, but eventually somebody's going to extort you over that and turn you into a full-fledged devil. Now you might be rich and live in Silicon's Valley there with the Silicons, but you're still nobody. You're still going to go to hell. You need to seek the protection of God. You need to start healing people in the street while you're driving around cursing everybody in the street. Because this one's black, that one's yellow, that one's red, that one's blue. You curse blue people. You hate cops. You hate honest cops. That's what you hate. But you call them thug huggers, right? Because it works for you, right? They're trying to reverse this as I speak. Destroy that whammy and the owners of it. Yah, yah, yah. Curse sealed. Seeing this much is a burden, but somebody's got to do it. So it's kind of a nice day. It's got a slight breeze. The sun's a little bit strong here in Kansas, so I think I want to move north again. No, I can feel it. I can feel it's different. Now we'll see if I can get used to it again, but sun's definitely very different than what it was. I used to be a sun person, a sun worshiper, I guess you call it, but again, not the sun. I'm not like worshiping sun. I worship God. So it is what it is. It isn't what it isn't. But the basic idea is this: that I was, without knowing, being set up to be hated. That's part of being numbered with the transgressors. Of course, I wasn't filming him coming in, but he'd think, whoa. So they say, well, maybe more you take the blue line hat off. I wore a do-rag. They get people attack me for wearing a do-rag. Don't wear a headgear at all. Well, they'll attack me for having a shaved head. Well, don't shave your head. Well, don't talk. Don't breathe. I mean, that's where they go with it. So don't tell me there's anything I have to do or could do to get them. Oh, you did too much, that means. You see, we got it all covered here in Satan's world. You did too much, now they can't forgive you. They forgive me? I tell people, stop asking me to forgive you and go to God. I can't forgive you to the level that you're looking for. And probably neither can God for many of you. And of course, they don't speak to me face to face, usually. Because they have this thing, I'm sorry. They'll walk past you and get in your way and go, I'm sorry. So that's how they communicate. They're strange. They're also inside, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Go away. You knew enough to be willfully ignorant. You had your party life and you funded it on my back while stabbing me in the back. So again, homelessness is brought about by curses, and these criminal spycraft operators are part of that. I was put through a program, I'm still going through a program where it causes homelessness in people. Why? Because they get paid a lot of money, and if they don't get paid money, Satan will pay the money. And I'm not hyper-religious. I mean, everybody's a sinner, face it. And that, I believe hyper-religious says, as you know, Rabbi Jesus came and tried to explain what had happened to the Torah, what had happened to the synagogue, the temple, and all of that. So you can see, if I explain Rabbi Jesus, and then I explain Rabbi Akiva, and I explain Rabbi Shimon, and then I explain again, Jews believe in kings. So again, they're okay, well, we're rich, we're doing well enough, but shouldn't Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, or Shimon, however you say it, shouldn't he have been, again, ancient Hebrew is different than modern Hebrew a lot of times. So you have to be careful on how that all comes out. But Rabbi Shimon, or Shimon, he should have been king, and he wasn't. The king. Again, there's kings, and then there's the king. We go to Maimonides. He should have been king. He's been pronounced king of Israel. Everybody should have realized he was the king. Then I get to darn, see, they made me forget his name. What's that guy that was proclaimed Messiah for a while? Shevdi? I can't remember his name. See, I can't even remember his name because he's cursed to be forgotten. So he was probably the best king, Maimonides says, because he was cursed to be forgotten. Because he stood up the most and spoke the most inside, and they hated him for it. But then you go, well, I don't know. He was kind of weird. He was kind of weird because they cursed him, and they spycraft up. Okay, what is it called again? When they make crazy making? Gaslight. So they gaslighted him, and he had some issues. They cursed him. He was being possessed real time. That's why the spycraft operators always make an excuse to go around their victims. They're evil eye on them. They're cursing them directly. They're bringing demons. But there is a price for the community to pay when those demons come. But of course, when you have rich people operate to go, well, we got money, but you don't have the life and the money you would have if you wouldn't do it. But you don't want other people to have money, so you kill the money and say it's politics. I mean, politics is such a stupid word today. I've been down in it further and further ever since you all stepped over a line in the name of politics. And so, when I say that, it means God's doing it. That's where I take my lead from, and that's all I have. I don't have the ability to even think today, but I can think because of God. God told me with what they did to me in the Marshal Service, if I didn't have God, like I have God, because some people say I have God, and you're like, oh, okay, go away, go live your God life, I'll live mine. He said, I've been the Rain Man, saying, what time, Judge Judy, all day long. They still try it over and over again because they know that's the truth. They know what it does to people. They've seen it. They've laughed at it. They've been paid millions of dollars for it. And they'll go to hell in hell. Outer darkness is nothing. That's like ages ago. The hells they're going to have not been thought up and cannot be thought up. They gay a planet and then say everybody's gay and they're sinners, and God goes and laughs at them. They just gave me the middle finger from this trash thing here, which means his property's falling. Some people are moving out and getting into apartments. God bless them. I showed you, what did I show you? How to see the middle finger. I forget what it was, but go to Twitter. Look on Twitter. Look at the statistics. They're giving you the middle finger, or analytics, or whatever it is. Look at that. Look at that emblem. That's the middle finger. Or something that looks like it when it is, quote unquote. That's awakening. But see, when you awaken for yourself or for your own little group, then it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So awakening is very important for all of us. But we have to care, again, whether you agree to Rabbi Jesus or not. Rabbi Jesus said, love God and love your neighbor. And then all the evil people say, oh, am I not your neighbor, man? No, you're not. You're a devil. A sinner is not a devil, and a devil is not a sinner, but a devil sins. Which means a sinner, when the Bible speaks about different groups of people, you have to realize those to get anywhere. Otherwise, again, low, Jesus is over here, low, Jesus is not over there, that kind of thing. And they use that for Satan also. Satan's over here, Satan's not over there. But if you tell yourself, the basic idea is this, start with this. The truth is the truth, no matter what anybody believes it is. Period. I take it one step further than Maimonides. Just say it and free the truth. The truth is the truth, regardless of what everybody believes or doesn't believe it is. And I said that before I ever learned Maimonides or learned anything he said. And pretty much you can sum up what I know about Maimonides in what are those things, memes. I've looked at a couple quickie articles on him. Because God doesn't want me to spend too much time studying the past, because I have to adjust everything for today. And also, he wants to show me and everyone else that it's just divine transmission, which also supports Maimonides. So if Raziel is here, whether he's Larry Lawrence or anything else, and he says the same thing Maimonides says without studying Maimonides, then obviously Maimonides is credited. Well, he might have heard it from me. I don't know. Again, paradoxes being what they are. But Earth being what it is, that is a credit system. Thanks, sir. So I was drugged. There was no doubt about it. I still have difficulty getting back to a real life, but that has nothing to do with that factor per se, but yet does. Again, if they didn't have that option, I would have never left the real life. But because you allow whatever you allow in the name of whatever you're allowing it, the world is disrupted. My life is disrupted. Other people's life is disrupted. Again, they start with eyeing you, evil eyeing you, that curses you, and then shifts you out of the norm. Again, when we look at Neely, the guy that was killed with the chokehold, he was cursed. You can call him mentally ill all you like, but that's a concoction of modern society. It exists, but there's a basis for it, how it occurs. Again, I spoke about the anti-psychology of Satan and the anti-psychology of the the criminal spycraft operators. They are mimicking Satan to cause psychological disruption in their victims. And that's what Weinstein's spycraft operators would have done to Rose McGowan if they could have. So Neely had psychological problems on that subway, but he was cursed. He got on that subway, and who was there? The devils. The devils were waiting. The demons, the people that were witches and sorcerers, and say, "Ain't I grand? Ain't my life grand? Ain't you a what do they call that? An unfit person or a mental defect?" So the curses got him. It was a trap. He's probably done that 10 or 20 times before, and his life got better. So what does that mean? The operation of Satan and the operation of criminal spycraft operators, which call themselves private investigators and all sorts of shit, is to rewire you into failure, homelessness, mental issues, whatever. So when you exhibit physically, somebody may have operated his life, but Satan does the same thing metaphysically, but they're part of Satan's metaphysical operation also, because Satan can't get into the planet unless your preacher accepts him and calls it God. You see how that works? So I'm not going to lift up the religions one bit either. It is what it is, and it is where it is, and that's definitely happening in the churches. So Satan causes a pattern of occurrences. Some people call it bad luck, and that's where they got me. I believed it was bad luck. Bad luck doesn't happen. Devils curse you. Devils curse you, and that's how that happens. Well, if I was in church, you should have told me this while I was asleep, and I'd have known something and woke up in a week probably. Instead, you trying to figure out how to make money from the police officers paying you to do me. Oh, no, I'm protecting the community. Willful ignorance is like a lying lip. A lying lip, should I say. You're trying to cut it in half. No, it's lying lips. Both lips, not half a lip. Trying to cut it in half, they are. So Neely was psychologically operated by Satan and or physical people that gaslight people. Again, but gaslighting is a minimalist term, a term to, oh, gaslighting and crazy making, oh, to make it stupid, to dumb it down. They're Satan incarnate, they're devils, and they're murdering people with psychology. But on the way to being murdered by psychology, they'll try to make you have schizophrenia, bipolar, and all that. I watched them. I watched them doing it. I watched them trying to cause bipolar in my life, wiring it. I'm like, okay, I get away. I heal it, and what happens? It starts again. So what happened is they increased the amount of money into it. They increased the available communities, and now any place I went, they were doing it to me. They were drugging me. Now, if I were to move into a couple of these places that are available right now, they would drug me. First off, my vehicle would not be accessible to me. Now, the second thing of what they want is for me to have no money to pick my life back up and get, healthier or whatever it is. That would be the second option. I either have no, but see, that's why they keep the money down. So I don't have options like that. No, you have to understand, I have to do the audio. I have to do what I have to do to stay up above where they're trying to put me. Again, they want me to be trans. They want me to be gay. I'm fighting it. Why am I fighting it? Because I don't want to be it. God instructed me, find a woman. Went and find a woman. Now it said, what's that? The king, what was his name? Lemuel. His mother said, don't worry about women. But what she's talking about is womenizing. It is a sin as a man not to seek a woman and tie the knot. It really is. Paul said some things that quite don't work, but he said he understood sexuality. So Paul, at whatever age, I don't know what age, was that 40 years old, 35 years old, he felt okay not being married. But when he was 18, I guarantee he wanted to be married. So if he went back in time and was preaching, he wouldn't have said that. Paul couldn't see it all. But that's why the follow-on works exist. Paul even told you he couldn't see it all. And maybe you heard me go, he can't see it all, Paul. What can I see? What can I see? Oh, it's gone. That's how the world really is. So what are we doing? Are we trying to butt heads with the system because it's trying to push me in another direction? No, it's physically being done. Republicans do that to discredit people and disenfranchise people and feel good doing it. And that's the main thrust of it, but yet it's in other communities also. So again, when we go back to Congressman, was it Odell? I think it was Odell in Oklahoma. I told you that it was a Republican that was most likely doing it to him. And then they figured out that it was a inter-party squabble hit. And they put a Democrat at him so that they could say, oh, look, it's a Democrat. They did it to me for a while, but I investigate it. I'll say it's a Republican, it's a Democrat. But understand, if you're in power, you're going to get hit for what's happening to me. I don't know. Biden could go to hell. I don't know. Not at that. See, again, the problem is once you get big beyond and you have responsibility like that, you have responsibility to stop it. They have responsibility to pay me. I don't care what they say. They have responsibility to pay me at least $1 million. Why? Because that would make life much easier and I could stay out of where they caused my life to be. But what do they really owe me? Probably $7 billion based upon what other people are paid for what happens in their life. The government tried to kill me and still would love to kill me and actually has killed me because I will die younger than I would have had they not done this. They're not interested in protecting the community. They're out there trying to make people crazy into being violent. They'll say, well, we're watching them. Well, you don't watch everybody 100% and you didn't watch me. Well, you watched me pretty close. But you still would have let it happen so you could arrest me. Like I told you, they watch people committing crimes and laugh about it because they caused the person to be violent. Rape, murder, children, they don't care. They're not out there protecting children. They're out there playing their game out. And don't tell me about their crocodile tears because I don't want to hear it. Because I know directly some people that had crocodile tears over Jonathan Luna. Because they out there with the same system making money. Same system that killed John, they're making money. Oh, middle finger looks to have went away. Oh, it's back. Ah. No, it doesn't look like it. Because I said it, Satan tried to flash it. Hey, look, I'm on camera. I'm on state trooper camera. 1, 2. All these cameras here. I can see you got millions of them. Why can't you put them places where we really need them? I've never seen so many cameras in my life. I guess you knew I'd be here, right? And they pay you money for the video. They pay more money for my video than those big cinema movies. Per copy, that is. That's the world we live in. Everybody's corrupt to a certain degree. If you've only been in police department less than 10 years, there's a chance you don't know about it or you haven't been tested yet by their system. Their system will test you, and if you're not corrupt, they want to get rid of you. They'll call you a slug hugger and all sorts of stuff. Again, they number you with the transgressors. So when we say Neely has schizophrenia, he has bipolar, we don't know the origin. Clinical psychology will tell us the origin. But if he were put in a better life, I guarantee it would almost go away, if not completely go away. If you gave Neely $5 million and a life with people that cared about him, it would go away almost completely, if not completely. But I mean people that really care about him. You know, I know his father, you know, he talks about the father and the mother. The mother healed him and loved him truly. That's why he had the capability of not having those issues while his mother was alive. Although when his mother died, it was traumatic, that's not the reality of what caused everything. Also, in his mother's house, he was safe. In his father's house, he was not safe. His father could be a devil, man. I don't know. Devils, again, will crazy make and gaslight. My mother gaslighted me all the time. You're crazier than Lou. In fact, the government knows she lied about me to get me locked up for a short period of time. Government also knows that they instructed ACLU not to take the case. Some of those people are in hell. They're dead already and they're gone off to hell. You can try to attack my head with something and it'll come back at you and take you and everything involved down. Because that's how they crazy make. That's the spell. If I can put dung on you, I can put a spell on you. But yet it's again an earth thing because God takes into consideration the entire thing, not just some bullshit that they set up. So like I told you, Schoolcraft would not have made a single penny today, but yesterday he wouldn't have made a penny if it was the federal government that did that to him. They'll go to hell, man. Chris Christie, he's going to hell, man. He's part of it. I mean, he looks like a devil, doesn't he? So again, stay peaceful all the time. That's how they get you. But when they drug you, it's very difficult. So Neely could have been drugged. we don't know the situations that Neely was in. Neely may have seen something or may have said something and then just attack. Again, I believe there's something online that is attempting to, again, divide people. There's nobody in a political party that has power that will unite people. They're afraid of it. Because the machine will attack them, but the machine is AI and it's Satan. So, like I told you, Satan will fail a number of lives so you can feel good fixing those lives. But in reality, if you weren't such a piece of shit, those lives would not have fallen so that you could feel good about fixing them. I got, I had plenty of time. You have to realize they probably started this when I was in my 20s. I can't prove much of it, but I can prove a lot of it. And a lot of people that worked with me look at it and go, okay, that's what it was. Again, Russia was part of it. No matter what they say, and I'm not admitting to anything that they say is being true, you'll find people with 10 times as bad things, 10 times as known, having the millionaire's life with tons of people loving them and them going out to the parties and sexing and drugs and all that. And I am a victim of the federal government sexualization program. It exists. And it does include spells, that includes pulling loved ones away. And again, my mother is doing that because they trigger her to do that. They harass her until she does it, and then she feels beautiful and wonderful when she does it. When I was living with her and taking care of her, I said, I'm not taking care of my mother. This is not my mother. Yes, she birthed me on this planet, and yes, there is a connection. I was a child. She kept me under her roof. But I told you already that if it was today's society, my parents I would have been taken away from my parents. And I probably had a great life like, what's that kid's name that was a foster kid? I don't remember his name. He's with Trump, the comedian guy. Yeah, a little bit berserk, but I mean, look at that. I mean, how talented is that guy? Not very talented at all. How intelligent? Not very intelligent at all. The best thing that happened to him, because he was in a well foster environment most of the time, if not the whole time, that he was in a foster environment. Because when we look at African American people, black people, they don't have that life that often, although some do. They're not coming from a foster family and all of that, or from a broken home, should I say. So again, they would say, you're lucky. This is how the system works. You're lucky. You grew up with two loving parents. Well, not really. I'd say the person that died when I was 5 was probably the only loving parent I ever would have had. Again, my father is God, but as far as earth goes, I'm not dreaming. I'm not fantasizing. I'm not suffering from mental issues beyond what you've caused, but yet I handle it better than you handle no mental issues or no stress. But you do have mental issues, all of you. That's why you are where you are today. Because you're psychotic, satanic beings that laugh at what you do to people. And you say, well, they're this, well, they're that, knowing that you're causing it or exacerbating it. So I rewired myself a ton of times. And of course, that's with God's help. But they come along and they break it again because they're sick. Now, Satan does exist, and that's what causes mental illness and all of that. But it's because of hate heaped on the person, their life breaks. They don't break, their life breaks. And then that breaks their ability to think straight. And then, of course, there's possession and all those other things also. So again, it's a very large system of hate that has caused these lives that we're living, and they're not the lives God had for us. Again, that goes all the way to the transgender movement. So I know how much money Republicans have, and I know how much mammon is worshipped on this planet. Therefore, they have to be, and of course, I know physically that they're part of it, but they have to be part of it. Otherwise, it would just go away. That's the difference of Republicans from yesterday to Republicans of today, business owners of yesterday compared to business owners of today. How long have I been speaking here? I'm walking in some broke down shoes. I got to change to my new shoes. But what they do is they buy my shoes out. Not every time. They do it enough so it looks like every time they do it, but they buy my shoes out. When I try to order them, they start blocking me. And then eventually they can get their people in to buy them and make it look like or get enough people. In other words, one way to sell out something that I'm looking at buying is to have it come up in those advertisements and sponsors. And, every time you do a Google search, it comes up when you're looking for shoes. So, it's going to, again, that's how spies would do it. But also they have people in the community that go off and buy your stuff. And they laugh about it. Now they'll put numbers related to maybe an investigation. And again, investigation doesn't mean that you're criminal. And today it actually means you might be innocent. But they'll put numbers related to that and then mess around with those items while you're trying to purchase them and say it's related to the investigation. So again, those programs are false because they torture. If you don't react to it, they'll torture you and drug you to get you to react to it. Even if it's not numbers, even like people screwing you over. Again, crazy making. Oh, she never wanted you to talk to her. And some of them did, even if they say that, although not all of them did, because some of them are direct operators. I've connected to enough women inside in the last probably 2 weeks because I'm not drugged and everything's coming back on to know that I'm not gay. In other words, and I'm not celebratory or whatever. I'm not looking to have a life that they want me to have. Again, part of what I was told when I woke up, and I didn't say much because I didn't know if anything was real or not, and a lot of it, some of it I did, was they didn't want me having any children because they know how the bloodlines work. And of course, my 2 daughters don't look like they're going to have children either. See, they're cutting off our bloodline from the earth. Now, my brother's kid, no matter how staunch Republican his mother and kind of middle of the road Republican his father is, and I guess I'd say my brother's probably 3/4 of the way to staunch Republican. He's like probably the big. Well, actually, I would say he's a byproduct of my connection, because you broke capitalism, all of you, completely broke it. Again, I don't think I'm not a fool to believe that you let somebody become a billionaire that isn't this person or a multimillionaire, but at least let people have 500 to a million, 500,000 to a million. But you said no, nothing. Just go live in a hotel and have nothing. F me, F you. Is that me, not God? No, that's God. God speaks through me. God, because you're fucking God when you fuck me, and that's the terms you use. You have problems with it, then go somewhere else and don't hear the truth. Remember, God told me, speak plain English, speak their language. Again, I'll go back to the King James version, but I'll also use other versions because God said, speak plain English. And that's what I looked for this morning. I shifted the version away from KJV. So, because they'll say, oh, isn't that deceptive? No, sometimes I need plain English so they understand what it's saying. Because they're not going to study the King James language. So that person that's screaming, she lost her voice. She doesn't know what to say. She can't articulate what's happening to her. But I did, right? And that's what the Bible says to do. I'll be in trouble for her sins. I didn't make her gay. You did, all of you. You know how you push people away. So again, if you don't physically do it, you believe that the vibration of it, the repercussions of it, the will of that doesn't have that happen to somebody before they get there? Of course it does. You will anybody out of the church that's not a devil. Because you want the church to be full of devil and saying, aren't we holy? Aren't we wonderful? And then you deny the power of the Father, and that messes the whole shebang up. Christians deny the power of the Father by saying the power is Jesus. Jesus never told you he was the power. He even said, look, I'm going back to the Father so I can be closer to him and then through me give you power. Jesus never claimed to be the source and the power. He says he's the Alpha and the Omega, but what does that mean? He's the beginning and the end of this universe. He's the son of this universe. And he's kind of pissed off up there. He's flaring up, isn't he? That's that. I told you before, you have a heavenly body that's you. That heavenly body right there, that son is Jesus. In this physical place. Again, don't get too hung up on where we are right now, because this is just temporal. So the son is angry. And also, Jesus also told you that I'm going to be up there and then you're on. He goes, greater work shall all of you do. Which means, do we write off Jesus? No. Could people similar to Jesus come to the planet? Of course. Paul came, didn't he? And Paul wasn't even close to anything that. Well, I take that back. The inside of Paul was known by God and known by Jesus. Now, the way they get Paul on is the way they get him on. Again, there are a lot of times there will be discomfort while you're coming on an awakening. But what happens is the planet reneges and doesn't allow you to live if you're real. You can be on and be an anti all you like. Well, because this is not the Father's kingdom. The communication isn't solid here. Like I told you, God told me, remember that movie Pitch Black I had you see when I woke up? I said, yeah. God said, that's what it's like. You're only getting parts of my communication. But remember those nasty beings killing all those people? That's what everybody is on this planet in reality. Or not everybody, but a large portion of them. They're that sick psychologically and metaphysically. But because they have money, power, greed, Satan supporting them, they don't come out and yell at you like Neely did. They sit inside and will Neely to come out and do that. And that's their anger. Mm, mm. So again, I know for a fact that man didn't try to heal him. Does he have an obligation to heal him? Well, I bet you now he wish he did. I bet you now if I told him you could have healed that guy. Did you try it? No. Well, you should have known that. You should have done it because it would have probably simmered him down. Have a gentle voice. Walk over to him. Hey, it's bad. I know it's bad. Don't say, hey, it's okay. Don't worry. Worry. I agree with you. It's a piece of shit, isn't it? And then say, hey, let's go get something to eat. Now, is that blackmail and extortion? Am I teaching him something wrong? Well, I didn't put a chokehold on him, and I didn't have to pull him down to the ground and kill him. So again, we're talking about a homeless guy, not some devil that's got money. Now, I heard from enough cops already. I don't know how they are in here, but they said, I've done it too. I've done it on duty. Instead of having to, I didn't want to arrest the guy. And I walked up and said, hey, just relax. We'll take care of it. You want to go get a burger? Actually, when I brought it up, a couple people said, that's because you're a cop. That's how you know that. Well, but plenty of cops don't do that. Because I'm a product of my Father, who art in hiding somewhere. I won't tell you where he is. He's in heaven. Go to heaven and find him. Actually, God does not reside in the Christian heaven. God does not reside in the Jewish heaven. The other heaven, God does not reside in the Islamic heaven. Possibly the Hindu heaven. I'll leave that open. I felt it before. A woman passed on that was one of their singers in the Hare Krishna, and boy, I felt God's power. I couldn't stand. I couldn't stand to walk, sit down, or nothing. And then I could see through her eyes for a few minutes. God empowered that. That takes a lot because we're on a planet that's not the Father's kingdom. And she was cow herding. I really had no thoughts on it. I was just what God would say, what the Bible would say. I was a useful vessel, an open vessel. Now she's not somebody I knew, but it's somebody that I sang her music, and she probably had me in her mind. I don't know who I was in her mind. So there was a connection, most likely. When I forget how it went, but I was like looking at her music, I think like an hour before she passed, or before the word spread that she passed. And I haven't maybe looked at their music in a long time. I'm thinking that's what it was. I'm not sure 100%. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So again, God's ways are God's ways. God tried to tell people in Judaism and in Christianity that God is bigger than just that religion. Even Jesus himself told you he's bigger than that religion and the people that are there, that people can hear him. Again, that's voices. Now, voices on the planet are whacked, and granted, that's true, but they're not all wrong, and they're not all whacked. And in fact, some people, they live to millionaire status with visions similar to voices. And that's really the natural position of this planet, that you hear and see things so that you have a good life, a great life. God wants you to have a great life. But for what they're doing, and everybody could be a millionaire. Don't listen to them. Here's an example. They're talking about, especially at this point. Well, I remember I told you that we could have had computers when Jesus was here if the curses were less. That's just how it works. It's real. And again, some people believe there's a battery and some other stuff that they found in ancient times. I'm not sure what the use was and if it was real, but there are things that they believe existed in ancient times, and they may have been on their way. And then what happened? Satan attacked and they lost their way. But we speak about robots and artificial intelligence and taking jobs away from people. If the curses disappeared, everybody would be at least a millionaire. The money would just appear. You've seen it. I could utter words and have the money appear. Whether somebody was playing me, quote unquote, my words still cause that money to appear. Thanks, Larry. See, that removes a little bit of the illusion. When money appeared, I wasn't always online speaking about it. I've healed and blessed things and watched it happen. And people say in the mind, we've heard you utter words and we've watched it happen also. Well, at this point, God's taking all the money. Again, God's not a tyrant. He's in your mind. You may not realize it is God. You may realize God. God will ask you questions. God will ask you questions. And then you'll agree, yeah, it's best that we have no money instead of evil money, and then God will do it. I mean, I don't know if it's everybody on the planet, but it could be, I guess. Again, God can speak to your mind absent your physical body. So if you're not awake, God can still speak to you. That's how he knows who you are. Well, he knows who you are because he knows who you are, but that also happens. God lives a physical, communicative life, whether you're there or not, with you. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been realized that the evil use of money is not getting us anywhere, because you can give them everything in the world, but they'll still be evil because they believe evil gave it to them. So now they can continue on their evil, and they'll see how evil takes it away. If they believe it, the power is the evil. There's no doubt I could have been married before I even divorced, because they made it very difficult for me to get divorced, and I finally was able to do it. It took me getting away from the Marshal Service for me to get the other side of it, because they're devils, man. So again, it's a fairly nice day here in Kansas, but this is not the place where I'm supposed to be residing. So God is ruling here and reigning here in Kansas and will be until the day I leave. Well, probably past that. Now you have to understand, Republicans are going, more you talking about us, but look what's happening to the liberals. The evil liberals are having trouble. The evil Republicans are having trouble. You're not, you're both having trouble, right? They've not done what they were supposed to do. Now, like I said, I prefer to have them in because if we're going to have evil in, we might as well have the evil in that feeds people and clothes people. There is a certain percentage of people, but see, again, that reciprocation of causing issue for people and allowing it. They might be extorted over Hunter's laptop and Burisma. That's what that is. And then the Republicans will raise money off of it by saying, yeah, we're going to get them. They're not going to get them. Democrats will raise money off of stuff. We're going to get Trump. Look, we're prosecuting Trump. If he goes to prison, I'd be very surprised. Because when push comes to shove, the spycraft machine steps in. But the spycraft machine will use that battle one against another to divide and tear down. So that you can't launch a concerted effort to take the country back for the people, the real people, not the hard-working America. It's so phony. I look at people who work hard all day and have nothing. And they want to say all the people that have money is, and I've said this before Trump was there. They want to tell us that having money is a proof they worked hard. It's a scam. They work for Satan. That's why they have money. Which includes that gaslighting, crazy making that is really psychological warfare and spycraft. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.
Listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry, presiding.
You can run, but you can hide.